Good afternoon, this is Peter Towers from ESS BIZTOOLS. Welcome to this webinar on Introduction to ESS BIZTOOLS. I hope you've had a wonderful weekend and if you're back a footy team that it won. Today we're going to look at ESS BIZTOOLS, products and services that are available for accountants to utilise with their small, medium enterprise clients. If you have any questions whilst I'm going through the webinar, can you type your question in on your computer and raise your hand in the webinar jargon and send the question through to me, and I will answer your questions later in the webinar. If you think of some questions once the webinar is concluded, please don't hesitate to send me an email and I will get back to you on it. So we'll get underway. What we're going to look at today is the products and tools that are in ESS BIZTOOLS. We have a range of material. We are continually placing new material into the system. So the system is built around business advisory services, both material to assist accountants to get ready to offer business advisory services, and then the products themselves. We produce a newsletter, Business Plus, each month. And in May there are in fact 3, the normal monthly edition, which went out last Friday, and additional editions for the federal government's budget as it affects small, medium enterprises, which went out last week, and another one going out next week on the end-of-year tax planning for 2014 fiscal year. Client mentoring and coaching is material to assist accountants to educate their clients in the type of services that accountants can provide. Leadership is 8 modules on leadership strategies to assist both your own team and employees within your own organization and clients to better understand leadership issues. Client seminars, there are 35 pre-prepared seminars or webinars that are ready to be delivered to your clients and prospects. ESS papers, there's 500 papers targeted at small, medium enterprises that our subscribers are able to badge with their name, address, etc. and send to their clients. ESS Biz Grants is a separate product on a separate website that assists accountants to identify government grants that the individual clients might be eligible for. And we're going to have a look at the website as we go through, and at some stage I'll talk to you about what your investment for our products will cost. So what's included in the material is there's papers. For every paper there is a set of PowerPoint slides to assist you in having conversations with your clients. There are hundreds of forms, standard letters. There are YouTube recordings that you can click on to access material, and the whole product is networked to assist with the delivery of the products that you can use with your clients. So here's our chart to give you an idea of how all this fits together. We started with papers, and from that we have developed business advisory services, which is in 2 components. The first is on getting ready, and the second is 14 products that are ready for you to use. Business Plus is our newsletter, which I talked about before, client mentoring, leadership, and then we have the seminars on the other side, and obviously down here we've got Biz Grants. So that's how that all fits together within our product. So what are the challenges facing accountants in 2014? We've had the Digital Disruption Report released by Deloitte about 18 months ago. There was an article in Business Review Weekly, one of their last editions actually, quoting Graham Swigers, the CEO of Deloitte in Australia, in which he said the accountancy profession will get worse and worse. Clients' concerns are evident in the marketplace about a number of issues, but I've summarised 3 of the major issues on the screen. Debtors days outstanding, currently about 54 days according to Dun & Bradstreet, nearly 80% longer than the traditional 30-day payment period. The Personal Property Securities Register, we're going to talk a little bit more about that today. We're in the process of finalising the release of a special business advisory service module on the Personal Property Securities Register. We already have some papers on how to use it, but we're getting feedback from accountants all around Australia that assistance was needed in the development of systems for various types of clients. And one of the major issues confronting small business operators, according to the CCH survey that was released April 2013, was management of costs. The whole question of cost control is a great concern to clients. Let's first of all look at an extract out of the Deloitte report on digital disruption. I don't know whether you've seen this, but if not, I'd commend the report to you to read, make up your mind where your firm fits. According to Deloitte, there's going to be a change, which they call short fuse big bang, that's going to affect 32% of the Australian economy. Over a period of time that we're now in the middle of, over a 3-year period that probably started 18 months ago. We all know that there's massive changes taking place at present, and not everyone's going to like it, but like the federal budget, but there are real changes occurring. According to Deloitte, they believe that there was going to be a change of 33% to professional services, which obviously includes accounting firms. What strategies have you implemented in your firm to overcome these problems? Some of the suggestions that Deloitte make in their report is that accountants should be considering recalibrating cost structures, replenishing revenue streams, and reshaping corporate strategies. Now, we've looked very closely at these and have decided that replenishing revenue streams is one of the areas that ESS BIZTOOLS can assist in, because we're looking at developing suggestions, products, processes for accountants to use to deliver a range of non-compliance services to your clients. Deloitte's believe the change is going to be 32%, and the challenge is, of course, how are you going to replace those fees within your firm? There's some quotes there from the comment that the Deloitte CEO, Mr. Swigers, made. He believes that the accountancy profession will get worse and worse. BRW quoted him as saying, doomed unless accountants respond to the threat of digital disruption. Volatility coupled with digital change will continue to challenge first. It will get worse and worse and worse and worse, and then when you think it can't get worse, it will continue to get worse. Very powerful words, and it's words that I think every accountant should be thinking about as it might affect your firm. We've certainly looked at these type of things. Dun & Bradstreet have indicated debtors days outstanding are currently 54 days. Admittedly, it's been around the mid-50 period for some time, but what can you do about it? Within ESS BIZTOOLS, we have a debtors system which will assist in calculating debtors days outstanding, has a recovery system, debtors reduction checklist, material that you as the accountant can utilize to offer a debtors management system for your client. And the system also includes a debtors system manual that you can badge with your firm's name, and make it available for a fee to your client. Personal Property Securities Register. I ask most groups of accountants I talk to these days how much people know about this register, and unfortunately I get some fairly blank looks at times and responses which basically say, well, what's it to do with me? Well, I think the PPSR has got a lot to do with accountants. If accountants are the trusted advisor to small business operators, I believe that accountants need to be closely involved in ensuring that clients have implemented appropriate systems to safeguard themselves under this legislation. So it covers all forms of property other than real estate. Some people believe that the word personal puts them off and they don't think this relates to business property. I think it was a bad choice of words by the government to describe it as personal property, but nevertheless that's the legislation we have. Unfortunately, there was not a major education program for small business operators when this legislation was introduced by the previous government. I was rather hoping that the current government may have included some funding for an education program last week in the budget, but they haven't done that. This legislation covers a wide range of business transactions, and I'm just going to read some of these out to you out of one of our papers on the Personal Property Securities Register. Covers things, sales of goods on consignment, sale of goods with serial numbers including motor vehicles, supply of goods utilising hire purchase agreements, utilising lease agreements, supply of goods including retention of title agreements from ALPA clauses, goods stored in someone else's possession, goods sold on your behalf by a retailer, goods that become attached to other goods, mixed goods, that's where grain's been put into a silo and things like that. Applies to equipment renters. It applies to financiers on receivables. Can apply to cattle on adjustment, share farmers for security over a crop, assignment of book debts I just mentioned, temporary work on a construction site, tradesmen's plant and equipment, stock, crops, boats and other types of watercraft, intangible property, goods supplied for use for growing crops, seed, fertilizer, pest control, supplies of feed for livestock, aircraft, artists' artwork. That was one of the major court cases in New Zealand which caused a lot of problems. Artwork was seized by a liquidator. Fishing industry, statutory fishing rights, a whole range of issues that apply under this legislation. We believe that small businesses need an internal system to ensure that they're making sure that they're complying with this legislation. In the first instance, small businesses should have already consulted with a solicitor and ensured that their terms of trade agreement complies with the Personal Property Securities Act. There's been various surveys undertaken by some organisations which indicate that only a very small number of small businesses are actually aware of and complying with this legislation. Once the system has been established, our recommendation is that accountants should be involved to make sure an appropriate system has been implemented for their clients to make sure that they get the benefits out of this legislation rather than the problems. And the problems have been very large. Millions of dollars have already been lost during the transition phase of this legislation, which ran for 2 years up to the end of January this year, primarily because people did not appropriately register their interests on the register. This legislation is based on New Zealand legislation, and in New Zealand there's also been some quite significant court cases, and I haven't found a court case yet that anyone other than the liquidator or administrator won, either in Australia or New Zealand. And this highlights the problem. Those members of our profession who are liquidators and receivers are probably quite happy with this legislation. But for those of us who are advising small businesses, I think we have a real problem on our hands to make sure that clients fully understand their potential exposure if they have not considered every transaction that they're involved in and decided whether, if they were not paid for that transaction or if they didn't recover that asset, whether it's a vehicle left somewhere or a leased item that's just going to be continued to remain at someone else's premises, or indeed if the lease is going to be more for 12 months. If that event would cause them financial embarrassment, then I believe they should be availing themselves of the register and registering their interest. There's been major problems in the construction industry relative to removal of plant and equipment from sites where people obviously have not complied with the legislation's requirements. There's been millions of dollars lost. There's rumours floating around that there are at least 2 accountancy firms that are currently being sued. I'm told that the court cases are set down for July, August. They're being sued by clients who believe that the accountancy firm should have advised them of the legislation and advised them of strategies to protect their interest. So my last question there is really directed at you all that are listening in this webinar today. Have you made your clients aware of the requirement, I think, first of all, to go and see a solicitor and make sure that their terms of trade are appropriately drafted and that their documentation complies with this legislation, and then they're going to need a system to follow through what they're doing. So I'm just going to try and move on. We just seem to have a technical issue here. Okay, what I've now done is just brought up the ESS BIZTOOLS website. So this is our website when you first go onto our site. And what I hadn't been checking was questions. Some of you logged on after we had started. I'll just repeat what I said at the beginning. If you have any questions, can you please type them in, and in webinar jargon, raise your hand, and I'll look at the questions and make a comment towards the end of the webinar. If you think of a question later on, you might like to send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au, and I will get back to you. What we are going to look at now is a quick run through the material on the website. So this is a little bit slower because we're using the website now. I've gone to Business Advisory Services. We are producing a new website. I was hoping it would be operational by today, but it's not, unfortunately. It'll be another couple of weeks, the programmers tell me. But we have got 2 components to Business Advisory Services. On the left-hand side in this mauve sort of background, we have the Introduction to Business Advisory Services, which is the modules which are available for our subscribers to work their way through to get their team ready to deliver business advisory services. On the right-hand side, we have the product modules that have been developed. So we have the debtors system, debtors management, business health checks, business evaluation, workshop, budgets and cash flows, chief financial officer services, buying a business, succession planning, selling a business. So to give you an idea what's in one of those, if we go into debtors management, you have an executive summary which summarizes what's included in the material. The paper is an explanation paper and that's built around a range of forms which are there to assist the accountant to deliver a overview on the system. I'll just download this. So I've gone into the PDF area, which is the area we have which enables links to be made. So this is the article or paper which gives a commentary on the approach to be taken, and it's supported by various forms. So here's a debtors review questionnaire, which is a detailed questionnaire to enable the member of your team that's got this job of analysing the client's debtors to be able to work through the debtors system with your client. There are linkages to other forms. So here's a suggested new customer letter. I believe one of the reasons debtors days outstanding are so high is because people have not been confirming their agreements with their customers. So there's a letter there that can be signed by the client to assist in the debtors management for the firm. I'll just go into the download area now where we get the Word document. It works a little bit better in doing a webinar to display the system. So we have a debtors management system, introduction checklist. We have a sample of a application to open an account, so that the new customer is asked to complete an application form. I think far too many small businesses are basically opening accounts for anyone without getting their full details, without following up, without getting a director's guarantee. So that's the debtors system. It contains a lot of various information. We might just have a look at the debtors systems manual that's available. This is a system that's been produced that enables you as the accountant to make this manual available to your client. So you would produce this with your name on it and the client's name on it to be able to supply it to them. You can edit this material if you wish. So the concept is you would undertake a review of your client's debtors system, and you would be able to leave them with a written debtors system that they can then utilize and obviously use with a new team member that's coming to work for them. It's got numerous forms attached to it to assist in implementing a full debtors system for their use. So that's a very quick overview of what's in the business advisory services. There are other modules there, and the new one which we'll be placing on the site next week is on the personal property securities register. Systems we've developed for 20 different types of businesses. Client mentoring and coaching modules, we've developed a system whereby for these various modules you have papers that have been organized in mail outs to go to your clients or prospects over a period of time. It might be a few weeks, in some cases it can be 8 or 9 weeks, to better educate your client on the type of services that accountants are providing. Even for the firms who are supplying business advisory services, there's no guarantee that your clients really appreciate that you're supplying services to them or that you're able to undertake particular tasks. So these have been collated under those headings that you can see on the screen at present, so that they're able to be forwarded to your client. So if we just quickly look at one of those, purchasing or commencing a business. These are in bright yellow because if you visit our site, you can download, as a guest, you can download one of these. So I've downloaded the first series. This has got some material to assist in the program. So this is a suggested letter that you could send to your client advising them of the reasoning that you're sending them this material. Now, presumably this has been a response to a client or prospect coming to talk to you about purchasing or commencing a business. So this is the explanation letter. Obviously you can prepare your own if you wish. There's a survey form. So for each of these mail outs, there's a letter and a survey form to go each week. You would badge this above these double lines with your firm name and address, etc. And the survey form invites your client to answer questions as to how helpful they found the various material, and also to make comments about further advice that they might need. Our suggestion is that you have an admin person or a customer service officer telephone your client after a few days to see whether they received the material and to see whether they've got any questions and whether they wish to talk to an accountant about them, because unashamedly this material, we believe, will assist you to better market your business advisory services to your client. And then within the system, we have the actual material itself. So the paper on small business overview is there. You would badge this before it goes to your client. And this is a general sort of introductory to small business paper that they can read, so they've got a better understanding of what they're getting themselves into. So each of the papers are there. If you wanted to send PowerPoint slides, you could. So there's a set of PowerPoint slides for each paper within the ESS BIZTOOLS system. So you could utilize those. That would be best where there's a number of the clients going to come in and talk to you about a particular product that you've sent to them. And we just seem to have got mixed up with some other PowerPoint slides then. So that's how that system works. It's a means of educating your clients. I was at a Smith Inc. 2020 conference on the Gold Coast February last year, where one of the speakers was a partner in an accountancy firm, and he indicated that you should never assume your clients know what you're doing. He indicated that he was reviewing the profit and loss account for his client, and he noticed that there was an entry, business advice, $26,000. He telephoned the client and asked him what the $26,000 was for, and the client said, "I hired a business coach." The partner in the accounting firm said, "Do you know that we could have supplied that service to you?" The accountant indicated the phone went dead for about 30 seconds, and then the client said to him, "I've been your client for 15 years. You've handled our tax and our annual returns and superannuation and financial planning issues okay. You've never once told me you could have done some of the work that the business coach is doing. If I'd known you were interested in doing that, of course I would have come and talked to you. I would have much preferred to have had you do that work." The accountant indicated it was a great lesson to him. You should never assume that your clients know that the type of services you can offer. You need to market and promote your services. We believe that the mentoring and coaching material will enable you to better educate your client into some of the services that you're making available. I've gone to Business Plus newsletter. We produce this newsletter 13 times a year. 13 times a year. So we produce the newsletter each month. We'll just go to a normal monthly one first. There's 2 extra issues, as I said at the beginning, one on the federal budget as it affects small businesses, and the second on a end-of-year tax planning checklist. The newsletters are prepared on the basis that they're written for small business operators. You remove the badging from ESS BIZTOOLS and place your own badging in the system. We have an editorial each month. This newsletter went out on the Friday before the federal budget. So we have an editorial article. In most articles, we finish with a paragraph similar to what's there now. If you would like our assistance in the preparation of budgets and cash flow forecasts or the update of your business plan for 14-15, please don't hesitate to contact us. This is a marketing tool. It's prepared on the basis it's going to assist you in informing your clients. So we then comment about contemporary issues that are going on in small business land, the new credit reporting rules, talking about debtors' days outstanding, what businesses might be able to do, why are directors' guarantees important, why do you have a new customer letter, We've been running a series on what services can accountants offer to try to educate the small business community on the types of services that an accounting firm can offer. Short article on succession planning, why is it necessary? We've been running a series on characteristics of a well-run business. What makes a business successful? This was based on an interview of a leading business person who identified the after 50 years in business, what are the things that he thinks are important. Every month we run a terminology segment on what's it mean. For the last few months we've been concentrating on the terminology within the Personal Property Securities Act. And we always have this attention accountants area, and we mention there papers which can be a reference tool for some of the material that's been discussed within the newsletter. So we suggest you remove that before you send the newsletter to your client and put your own message in there as you wish. Now that could be that a client's won the Business of the Year award in your area, that one of your team members has qualified under the Australian Institute of Company Directors Diploma, or you've got a seminar coming up, generally any sort of news. Obviously remove the ESS logo at the back page and replace that with your own logo. You can add material if you wish. You can edit the material if you wish. We do try to write in a non-political style. We're not taking sides with either side of politics. We are basically reporting because we are very conscious of the responsibility that we have. We're writing these newsletters and they are being branded by hundreds of accountancy firms around Australia and sent to their clients. I'll just quickly show you the federal budget newsletter that went out last Wednesday afternoon. Each year we do this. We produce a newsletter. Let's go back to the beginning here. On the federal budget. So it's the issues for small, medium enterprise operators. We're really not worried about the defence budget or even the health or medical areas or education. We're looking at what might be of interest to small business operators, so we always have some key economic data. Then we summarise the tax changes that are going to apply from the 1st of July that might affect a small business operator. Then we talk about some of the taxation issues, the temporary budget repair levy, changes in company tax, changes in fringe benefit tax, super contributions, research and development claims, exporters, the export market development grants continuing, the fuel excise indexation, and other stories. So they're all there, including a summary of what's happened or proposed to be happening on some of the government grants. Obviously, Commercialisation Australia and Enterprise Connect are finished as bodies that you can make new applications to. But I understand that the new program, Entrepreneurs Infrastructure Program, will be commencing on the 1st of July, and it's going to be a mixture of both Enterprise Connect and Commercialisation Australia. The rules aren't out yet. It's going to be interesting, and when they do come out, we will immediately be notifying our subscribers. So that's the newsletter. We call it Business Plus, and it's uploaded to our website, the normal monthly edition, on the second Friday of a month at 12 noon Queensland time. There are leadership modules within the system that have been prepared by a separate consultant, Leadership Academy, headed by Peter McDougall, former Colonel in the Australian Army. These are the modules: teams and teamwork, leadership, developing motivation, that have been written to assist accountants, first of all, to conduct leadership training within your own organisations, and then, if you wish, to conduct some training programs with clients. Peter McDougall's phone number is included in the material, and if you wish, you can contact him, and he will give you advice over the telephone. And in some instances, he's actually attended some of our clients around Australia to run in-house leadership training programs for some of the firm's clients. Client seminars and webinars. There are 35 of these pre-prepared, ready for use. I'll go to one of the ones here. The ones that are numbered over 1,000 are 1-hour seminars. After the name of each seminar, there is in brackets the number of sessions and the time. So obviously in this one, it is one session of 1 hour. I believe that seminars are a great way to market an accountancy business, and these days, of course, you can run them as webinars. So we have in the material some general hints on the presentation of a seminar that can be used. And there's some generic material there for a particular seminar. Then we have the features of the individual seminar, the one you're running here. So this is a suggested letter that could be placed on your letterhead and sent to your clients, explaining what you are doing. There's a suggested news release if you wanted to use it. Won't work in the major metropolitan papers, of course, but in the capital cities there are quite a number of free suburban newspapers who are always looking for stories, and in the regional and rural areas there is a strong media presence, not only newspapers but also radio and TV, that are often looking for stories. So there's a suggestion there of a news release that could be made on characteristics of a well-run business. I think accountants as an industry could make far better use of the free media in Australia. Don't have to pay for newspaper advertisements. Send the material out. And then the material is all self-contained for this particular seminar. So here's the paper that you would be talking to in delivering to your client, so there's no chance of turning up and having the wrong paper or the wrong PowerPoint slides. I'll show you that in a moment. So here's a paper on characteristics of a well-run business. There are 20 characteristics that we have summarized within the material, and the PowerPoint slides are also there. You can place your logo on the PowerPoint slides. They're prepared, ready for use to have the discussion with your client. Pardon me. A list of the seminars is there, the ones numbered up to 1,000, up to 660 actually, are all for periods of time exceeding 1 hour. We then found that 1 hour is the most popular time. 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. is a great time to run a seminar, but that's up to individual firms, of course. So there's a list of the material that's currently in the system. We are writing a seminar on the Personal Property Securities Register. It'll be finished by around the end of June, and hopefully that will help accountants to better educate their clients as to how that legislation really works. I've just checked again on questions. I haven't got any at this stage. If you do have a question, please send it through to me. Just type it in and then raise your hand. I now just want to go to the papers for the final overview of what's in this ESS BIZTOOLS product. I've now brought up sections and papers. The section numbers through to 270 cover papers that are targeted at small business operators. So if you wanted to have a look at operating a successful business, what's in there, you click on the name. You've then got the name of the papers. So if you wanted to have a look at break-even calculation, you have an executive summary of what's included in this, and you can then download. This is the Word document that's been downloaded. So obviously this is the one that you, if you're a subscriber, you can edit. You can edit by placing your name on the paper, and it's then ready to be sent to your client or given to your client. It's an explanation of what break-even analysis is all about. And in this way, this paper can be used to back up the advice that you may have already given your client as to what break-even's all about, so the client has a better understanding. With every paper, there is a set of slides. So they're there to back up what's been placed in the paper. Just go back to the main menu. The papers in the 500 series, 500 through to 590, are papers that are targeted at accountants and accountancy businesses. So if you wanted to have a look at they're basically prepared on the same basis. If we go to view, the view is the PDF document. It's basically included to assist in the movement from one paper to another. By using the linkages. So these papers are contemporary thoughts on the accountancy profession in 2014, based on articles by Andrew Geddes, David Smith, Robert Nixon, David Meister, and other people that are influencing what accountants are looking at and where the profession is headed. And obviously our own views are also reflected in that material. Within ESS BIZTOOLS, we have a range of products, as you can see. Our gold subscription covers everything that I've shown you today, including a subscription to ESS BizGrants. All this material is available 24/7. ESS BizGrants also, ESS BIZTOOLS Gold package also includes online publishing rights, whereby a gold subscriber is given a license to reproduce the ESS BIZTOOLS papers branded with their name, subscriber's name. That subscription is valued at $2,700 plus GST for the 12-month access per office for as many authors or users as you have. There's no restriction. We have a silver package which doesn't include the subscription to ESS BizGrant and has a restricted publishing right of only the 20 free papers that are the papers that are available for a guest login. And the cost there is $1,990 plus GST. And we also have a bronze package which has a lesser amount of material, probably about 28% of what's in the gold package. No publishing rights other than the 20 free papers, no access to ESS BizGrants. It's available for $800 per annum plus GST. We do have a limited number of firms who just subscribe to the Business Plus newsletter package. Basically, they just received the 13 editions each year, and the cost for that is $550 plus GST. If you are interested in subscribing to ESS BizTools, and I sincerely trust that you are, we'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions that you would like to raise with me off air, please don't hesitate to send me an email or a telephone call, peter@essbiztools.com.au. At the conclusion of the webinar, we will be sending you a survey form. We would appreciate it if you could take a minute to complete that and send it back to us. We really believe that our product within ESS BizTools does assist accountants to deliver a wider range of products and services, which we're generally calling business advisory services. We believe that the challenge is there that Deloitte's forecast, and that offering business advisory services is a way of helping your clients add value to their businesses, and at the same time helping accountancy practitioners to meet the challenges of 2014-15. Thank you very much for participating in this webinar today. Have a great day. Goodbye.